Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
Sure, I unmute myself. Man, second time that happened. All right, let's try that again. Greetings and salutations. Another episode of Fangs up here. And as y'all can see, man, we upgraded in the jersey department a little bit. We got the orange, we got the white, we got the green, we got the FAMU colors. So I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Look, I hit that little deal up. They post in the group, getting jerseys for the low. They don't officially advertise with the podcast. So, if you know, you know. And if you don't, email a brother. I don't mind sharing my contacts. I ain't one of them that you ain't got these. I ain't grabbed my you ain't got these, though. Those are in the room over there because some of y'all ain't got them. And I'm not wearing them to homecoming. Them things are heavy. But all that stated, big shout out at HBCU Digital Network. This is home to Herb Stewart and the Black Techies. Also, home to the Fangs Up podcast, man. So, but today, man, we're gonna kind of look at the receiving room a little bit. The Rac Boys. Who are the Rac Boys? And if you don't know, I don't do the Rac Boys 2.0 thing. I'm over it. I'm done with it. I've been here. Sorry. Just kind of stuck just a little bit. Oh, there we go. I don't stunt hard. I just, it ain't tricking when you got it. And look, I told you I got it for the low. But I did get. I ain't gonna lie, I did pay full price for the football uniform. That one hurt. That didn't hurt the way them FAMU LeBrons hurt. But yeah, the jerseys, that was a light work. That was easy. But man, we're gonna look at the receiving core. And we also, man, look, if you missed it, I don't know where we got some of these scholarships at because we got to be at like 100 players. Like, I don't want to see what the travel roster is because we're going to like doggone Monstars from Space Jam in a minute. But we got a lot of students and we got some more that just added on to the roster. So I'm going to start with that, though. We're going to go and jump on so that you can see who these new Rattlers are. So we got 3 in the past about week or two. First one, Rachel Quan Lee. That is a wide receiver transfer from UCF. So he is from Gainesville. Supposedly got some ties to FAMU. 6-foot receiver. We're gonna be able to see. And now look, Coach Riz, that's my guy. Good people. I'm at to ask him like, yo, Coach, what you doing? Because FAMU went for 2 today. We had 2 commitments, and both Chili Davis, man, you got to be excited, Coach, because they did you a solid on this one. Like, we got double special teams guys. So we got a punter and a long snapper. And I think that some of this is depth, but yeah, just an hour ago. So that's the long snapper we got. They're both from Chicago, Illinois. So we're going to be able to see the long snapper is the 2023 prospect. And the punter, look, there we go. Look, dude's excited to be at FAMU. So some big offers, big commitments. And you're just seeing more reason why I'm extremely confident in my FAMU Rattlers this football season. And I'll say it now. I'll say it then. First game of the season. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it because we're going to do a game-by-game breakdown. OBC, FAMU by 20. I don't normally go out there and say with my chest like that, too slick. When I leave the predictions to other people. But for me and mine, and my wife's not a FAMU fan. She's a UCF graduate. Hey, she can't be perfect in all ways. But I got FAMU by 20. So on my lightning strike right there. So, but yeah, that's what I got right now. FAMU by 20. If you don't like it, argue with your mama. That's okay. I've said it to other people who are not FAMUans, and I stood by it. So, but the Rac Boys. Now, we'll address the elephant in the room at the end. I'm not even going to go there with you and nobody else. There's an elephant in the room, though. Production wise, there's a huge difference. But we just start off with the big names. And the big names are Jamari Shareed, also known as K. Dot, 5'7". He makes me feel all right, you know. He's number 10, 44 receptions, 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, leading receiver coming back. Like that is far and away your leading receiver. And it's kind of close, but it's not. Like, so, and you know, K. Dot didn't really play in the spring game, if I remember correctly. And he's going to be a guy that you can play on multiple roles. As far as his potential, I mean, he's not tall. Like, I mean, and I'm not picking on him. I'm 5'8" myself, so it's not like I'm not called. No, I'm just I'm be honest with y'all about that one. But him being at that height, especially in this offense, makes him versatile, meaning that he can play both that kind of slot receiver as well as going in the backfield. I'm wondering, can he slip into a little bit of that Bishop Bonnet role? I think Leland Willoit is going to be more of that just because he is bigger. He's a little taller. I mean, 4 inches taller. So, I mean, Willoit's almost like 5'11", 6 feet almost. Jamari's 5'7", and it's a 5'7". It's a legit 5'7". So, but with that kind of production, 3 touchdowns, 500 yards, you're really going to be looking for him to be very consistent this year. And he's probably one of your receivers with the better set of hands. Like the next guy would be Oxendine. Oxendine is 5'10". He's number 83, 18 receptions, 194 yards. And you're going to be asking him to make some of those plays. Like he's going to be one of those 3 guys that you're looking at. And the other guy is Manigo. Like, and for however you feel about Manigo, he is what he is. 6'3", nice size receiver, 300 yards last year, 23 receptions, no touchdowns, though, from what I saw online last season. So, but I'll say this. One of the things with Manigo, the question is going to be, he's going to be able to squeeze the ball and hold on to it. Because he's one of those guys, he makes some catches that makes you say, like, oh, my word. But then he'll turn around and he'll drop a ball. Like, this was in the spring game. And, man, it was one of those plays where you're watching and you're like, yo, dude is kind of like that. Like, and I mean, it's great coverage. So, oh, come on now. Really? Don't play. Like, you can see right there. Like, that was a extremely tough one. Like, the corner, almost perfect coverage. And you're able to see he couldn't quite come away with it. And he was upset about it. Y'all can see where I was. And hopefully you couldn't catch all the volume because he used a word or two that he might not want repeated. But that's going to be the question with Manigo. Can he hold on the ball? Can he catch it? And is he going to be consistent? Because with his size, with his speed, Manigo has what I would want in a pro receiver. Just he's 6'3", and it's a real 6'3". It's not a 6'3" in cleats. He's legit 6'3". Like, I got to turn my head up a little back, when I'm talking or speaking to him. And he's a cool dude. He's serious, but he's a solid guy. If he can get those numbers closer to where Xavier's were last year, yeah, he gets a shot. He definitely gets a shot. But he's got to make those catches. And I missed it once. Man, I missed this one catch from the spring game. Go back and watch it on the Facebook feed. Manigo, and the ball gets called out of bounds. He catches on the sideline, and it's a toe tapper. And it was a catch. I mean, it was gorgeous. Like, you can start to see, like, oh, crap. This dude's got some chops as a receiver. Like, one thing I do like about Manigo, he catches the ball with his hands. Like, That's part of the reason he drops some of them, because he catches the ball with his hands. And that's what you want to do. That's why I stated about him squeezing the ball. It's not actual like an actual squeeze of the ball. It's actually when you're saying a player needs to be able to squeeze the ball, you're saying, can they hold on to it? Can they bring it in? Can they finish catches and things of that nature? And that's going to be the question for Manigault. The jugs machine is going to be his friend. Put that thing on 60, put the gloves on, put a helmet on. Please, anytime you going above 20 on the jugs machine, wear a freaking helmet. Honestly, if you're going to jugs machine, just wear a helmet. But that being the case, I think that's going to be the key for him, because he's probably going to be one of our receivers that is going to be looked at. Like, those are my top three. Like, I started off with the top. I didn't kind of go and, hey, we're going to dilly-dally in. Nah, we started off at the top. But since we are starting off at the top, man, look, we're bringing them back. If you hadn't heard or don't remember Cable Buster TV, who you going to call? Cable Buster. Check them out. 24-hour trial, no credit check, 1 to 5 devices, starting at $35 per month on up to 3 devices. If you are interested, hit them up. 813-360-1902. Cable Buster's website is being updated. So the only reason I didn't see you to the website is because they are getting updated, trying to make it a better service for you. So go check out cablebustertv.com. Now, the returners. We got a couple returners. And the way I did this, they're in numerical order, but the players that are returning, they got a little more stats than the other guys. So we have the big names, the guys you know about. Then we got the returners. Then we're going to have the new boys and the other guys. And the other guys are, some of them are guys that are transferred in that didn't play, but they're names that a lot of times we mention because they transferred in or they've been here, but you just didn't know. And then the last one is where they at? Like, these are some guys that we got some names, but where they at? Like Quan Lee, where he at? He committed. He hadn't signed. And some of these guys aren't on. They're on the ESPN roster, but they're not on the FAMU roster. I'm gonna leave that alone. And we're gonna finish with the elephant in the room, and that's Xavier. We're gonna talk about Xavier. Yeah. But now that we have hit that up and we hit the big names up, the returners. So some of the returners that you're gonna want to know about: Kareem Burke, 6 foot, number 5, 1 reception, 21 yards. So not a lot of production, but he's still new. Like, he's kind of young. Then also you have Christopher Sanders, 5'11". He's number 6, 11 yards. 2 receptions. Javonte Davis, another one, 4 receptions, 60 yards. It's only touchdowns against UNC. Like, yeah, Derek Hall, 5'10". He forced a fumble, and that's kind of the thing that you're starting to see, even with Nicholas Dixon. Like, Nicholas Dixon, I was like, oh, yeah. I know he had I was like, man, I looked at the stats. Number 88, he's 6'2", 4 receptions, 44 yards. And so I was like, man, I've been talking some noise. I said FAMU by 20 against Jackson State. I need some, okay. Where we at with that? Because after the game, I ain't trying to be leaving the stadium looking like, stupid. But yeah, and you started to realize real quick when you look at the FAMU receiver room, yeah, those top 3 guys that are your big name returners pretty much take up almost the entirety of your returning offense. And that's 1,000 yards just about by themselves. And it's not by a lot. So you start to kind of look like Musa didn't throw for 3,000 yards. I think last year he threw for like 2,700. Whoa. That's kind of alarming. If you're a FAMU fan, like, the receiving core, okay, so what happened? Like, what's going on here? Well, we got some new boys coming in. One is Jamari Gassett, And Gassett, 5'10" receiver. He's from Buffalo. He's number 2, 28 receptions, 300 yards. And one thing, I'll give the University of Buffalo's website a little something, something. And I appreciate that. They talk about him. Speedy receiver, and he creates some splash plays. That's something I needed to hear because, and I saw his film. This film is pretty solid. Huddle looks nice, and that's gonna be something that you definitely want to see. Like, you're gonna want to be able to see something from some of these guys. Otherwise, it's gonna be some consternation and some hand wringling going on because, yo, we at the receiving position, I got questions. And I will say, I'll give Moose some credit. If you didn't catch the video from last week, I'll pull it back up a little
lot
bit.
of guys got a lot of reps today at quarterback. Just ask Coach just how these game reps get you guys ready for the fall, for the future. How do you feel like you did today? And just
It wouldn't let me skip ahead. I was trying to skip ahead to the part.
a lot of guys got a lot of reps today at quarterback.
The receiving core. Sorry, we were talking about the receiving core. And he kind of gives you a little bit of like, okay, I'm okay with this. He talks about how important the running game is going to be. And it's just something that, again, going into some of these games, I would have sworn, FAMU's receiving core, yeah, we're solid. We're solid. I don't have questions. I won't say it like that. What I'll say is there's reasons for those that are not as affiliated to be concerned because you don't have that big name guy. You don't have that. You don't have that 1,000-yard receiver coming back. It's like you don't. Now you got some other guys. We got Marcus Phillips. That is the Virginia State transfer. He didn't play last season, and I mean, I've heard why. I can't confirm, and I don't. Yeah, no, I don't slander out here. Like I keep it a buck. I say what I know, and that which I don't know, I don't talk on. But I'll speculate in private. And yeah, long story short, he didn't get to play last season. 6'3" receiver though, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that you're going to be seeing on the field a lot more than not. I'm just going to say that about him. Another one is Michael Williams, 5'8", number 21, kick returner vibes. And then Tyler Pye, 5'8". He's a UAB transfer. He's a local kid, though. So I don't know if he's really going to get a shot or if he's for practice squad. Some of these guys, I'll be honest, especially with the amount of athletes we're taking on, man, they might be casualties when you start looking at reassessing the number of scholarships you have to offer and present. Like, just being honest. Like, you got Jalen Howard, 5'9". He got to carry. So it's kind of like, that's why they call the other guys, for me. And it's not to discredit them, but it's because some of them have been here. Some of them, this is their second, third year in the system, but they just didn't play last year for various reasons. Hopefully they get to make it to the field this year and kind of do some things for us as a program. Now, my next one, where they at? So Finley Graham, where is he at and when is he coming? Finley Graham is the UF transfer, 5'9". I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm kind of excited. Like that's a dude. That's a dude. That's a dude. I can say it enough, but that's someone that if he can pick up the offense, I'm looking for him to do some things. Other one is Szechuan Inge, 5'10", number 82, Minnesota State transfer. He kind of hit that other guy's section, but he's also where you at for me. Like, he's another guy that, okay, he committed last year, if I remember correctly. Where is he at? Are we going to see him on the field? Because these are some of the guys that we're going to be looking at. And then there's the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is Xavier Smith's not there anymore. And that's a huge departure. Part of the reason we as FAMU fans were so, I guess, disappointed with kind of how the things went with him, because we saw the production. You're talking 87 receptions, He had 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. That's almost twice as many yards as the closest guy, from which would have been the closest returner, which would have been Shareed. It is, and look, I'm not a mathematician, so that's why I'm gonna keep on scrolling back down. That's almost twice as many catches as K Dot. Literally one less than twice as many catches as Jamari Shareed. So you lost 1,000-yard receiver that had 80 receptions and 11 touchdowns. Go back and look at this FAMU receiving core and look at how many touchdowns the returners have combined. Not the tight ends. I didn't put tight ends in here because I realized I was like, man, I'm gonna be just listing names for a minute. Whoa, there is definite cause for concern if you're a fan. But on the other side, you got to look at both sides of that coin. And my Jamaican coins over there. So let's look at both sides of this coin. While there is a area or cause for concern, that also means on the other side of that, there are some opportunities to get some opportunities to catch the football. I just saw the Cameron and Brandon Marshall and Mace thing, and I had one of them pause moments. I was like, pause. I'm not gonna say it. But there's an opportunity for some receivers to make some names for themselves this year. Again, K-Dot didn't play in the spring game, if I remember correctly. Oxendine and Manigo were there. Like I told y'all, Manigo made some catches. And honestly, let's be real about this. Manigo could have easily went for almost 500 yards if he didn't drop some of those balls. Like, he definitely had some drops that lowered his stats. Like, I can recall at least a good 7 to 10, 5 to 7. I'll say that 10 is like aggressive, and that's probably like revisionist history from being frustrated in the moment. But I can call at least 5 drops where it's like, dang it, if he had caught that. I think Manigo has the potential to at least have 500 yards this season, easy. Now, K-Dot, I think K-Dot's where he's at. I think 500 yards is about where it's going to be. Now, Oxendine's the one, that's less than 200 yards. I think we're going to be looking for Day-Day to do some things this year. I'm thinking Oxendine's another 500-yard receiver. What I'm saying is I think FAMU spreads the ball out. Last year, that corner route for Xavier was it. It was money. He was consistent. He was going to catch the ball. Like, it was that. It was right there. You could sign a check and turn it in and like, oh, Zay's going to catch this. I ain't even worried about it. Walk away. Now, I ain't a lot of men to go bounce some checks last year. But he's still a good receiver. Like, that's not saying the guy's bad. It's just saying that it's the honesty in watching the game. Like, it's a difference between being a pure fan and being somebody who's going to observe the game and honestly say what happened. Balls got dropped. It happened. I think he's going to make some more catches. I think some of the drops are going to happen. It's there. It's part of the game. But I'm looking for him to make some plays. Kareem Burke, that's another one. I'm looking to make some plays. I want to see what he's going to do this year. Like, that's a guy I'm up on. I'm up on Burke. Sanders, I got to see it. Same thing with Davis. Derek Hall, too. He's another one. Dixon, I ain't gonna lie. I think Dixon's got an easy 300 yards in him. I just, and no, I'm not adding all this in my head. At this point, I'm looking at names, I'm spitballing. But I really think Dixon can give you 300 yards. I believe in our receiving core. Last year, you just had a dominant receiver. Like, you just had that dude. Like, Xavier was that dude. Like, go look at his stuff with the Rams, and the brother looks like he belongs. He don't look foreign up there. No, he don't look the prototypical size. But if you look at him and then you look at some of the other receivers that the Rams have, you're not over there looking like, oh, that Xavier Smith kid. Yeah, you have a snowball's chance in hell of making it. No, you're like, nah, that guy, I think he might make the team. Like, yeah, he looks like he belongs. I think that's going to be something we get from some of these other guys. Gassett, that's another one. I think Gas is going to give you at least about that 300 is his number. 350. He had 347 at Buffalo. I think he's a 350 guy. And if he can hold onto the ball, he could be that guy that fits that Xavier role. Phillips, I don't know. I haven't seen Phillips really play. Excuse me. And his stats from Virginia State weren't stellar. The stats that they had online. Now I've seen other stats, other places where it looks like he was more prolific. It just didn't look like they reported his stuff properly. And that may be part of the why he left. But I think Phillips is a guy that you're definitely going to watch out for. Williams Pye, Howard, Jones, I don't know. Finley Graham, I'm high on. Inge, I don't know about. Like I don't. And that's just me being honest about it. I think he can be something. I think FAMU's got a solid 5. I think you have a solid 5. And I think out of what I just spoke about, you really got a solid 7 or 8 receivers that you can go through and just say, okay, I can hit this guy, hit this guy, hit this guy. And if y'all know me at all, when it comes to FAMU tight ends, I'm up. I've been on FAMU tight ends. I've been on that narcotic for a long time. Like ever since we got Jalen Goss? Yeah. I was on him when he signed to Florida State though. So I was, yeah, it's a problem over here. Like I'm big on FAMU's tight ends, and I ask coach questions at times about underutilizing those cats. Like, yo, I like our tight end room. I think our tight end room at times was better than what Florida State had, and I'll stand on that. I'm not one of those people that is going to sit up here and tell you FAMU's ever going to beat FAMU in football. But I will say, not this year. This year they actually came up. Like that South Carolina transfer they got to Florida State and everything else. He's solid. And I actually liked Cam McDonald's. Like I just don't ask me why. Like I wasn't a crazy fan of his, but I liked him. Like I thought he was pretty solid. But I thought FAMU's tight end room, man, I thought we can give him a run for the dollars. And so, yeah, man, we're gonna. I'm probably lump them in. I don't know. I was gonna try to lump them in with the offensive line, but we gonna have to back that off and get them their own little thing. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that, man. Like I'm really up on them. As a matter of fact, let me just do the tight ends now. Like so that way I don't even have to go and re send out my schedule. Like, but no, I'm up on FAMU's tight ends big. That's probably one of my favorite positions, and it's not close. Like FAMU's tight end room, it's there for me. It's because I like our size. I think I like our size. I don't think I know. I like our size. I like how versatile they are. And one of the things and one of the ways our tight ends are used for, they're used as goal line options. So instead of having the 6'6", 6'7" receiver, we use the tight ends. For better or worse, we use the tight ends. And we're solid. We got what, 4? So we got Jeremy Pruitt, 6'5", 230, redshirt senior. Okay. I kind of like him though. Like no funny business. I like that guy. Like Pruitt is a guy I'm big on. Like I like him. I like his size, 6'5" as a tight end. I don't know how much I love him as a blocker all the time, but I think in the SWAC he works. 6'5", 230. I like him though. Hard worker, good dude too. Like I ain't gonna lie. Like Pruitt's pretty solid dude. Another one, Kobe Gross. I told y'all I've been up on Kobe Gross since he got to Florida State. 6'2", 238. He was a JUCO like dude. Like he was a dude. And so then you got Kamari Young, 6'4", 245. And then you got Ronald Smith, 6'1", 220. He's a young buck though. Smith transferred from Flomo. So 6'1", 220. A little light in the draws. So if he can gain another 10 pounds, he's solid. But one thing, since I do have you and I have your ear about these FAMU tight ends, man, look, you can use them as an H-back. I'm just saying, Kobe Gross as an H-back, especially him, Kamari Young, or Ronald Smith as an H-back. I don't know if I put Pruitt as H-back just because That 6'5", I don't really like them coming at a 3-point stance and all that stuff to run up the gut like that. I'm old. I like a little bit of give me a kind of stocky fullback who ain't got no neck. That's kind of fullback I like. But for H-back, I ain't gonna lie. And it's weird because Kamari Young is 6'4", but I guess it's because he's listed at 245 is why I'm kind of like, all right, you 245. I have to trip the Bojangles though. Kamari like probably 250. Yeah, give me that. Yeah, give him the ball on the 1 yard line and let him just run that mug in there. Like I'm telling y'all, the tight ends, while not part of the Rac Boys, I feel like they are slept on. And you got 3 seniors. So that's going to be a point of emphasis in recruiting. Like, look for that to be a spot where FAMU hits the transfer portal. It's not even going to be a scenario where we really, to me, try to go do a lot of high school kids. Because Pruitt's redshirt, Gross is redshirted, Young is redshirted, Smith is redshirted, but he's a sophomore. So all those other guys are redshirt seniors. I think in the tight end room, that's going to be a place where you're going to be able to see a little heat. Like it's going to be kind of fun. And 6'4", 6'5" at tight end, like I'm just saying, I kind of like Jeremy Pruitt out there on the corner. Like just in that, if you're going to run that goal line fade, granted, Moose can get a little windy with throwing motion. I mean, he's quick now. He's quick with it. But he can have a little wind up sometimes. When he's back there and he's trying to be like really perfect, like Dan Marino perfect, he'll be back there like winding and posing. I ain't gonna lie. Like I be catching you, Musa. But yeah, like so quick recap, man, y'all. You got your tight end room, and I'll finish with them. I'll come back to them. But you got your big name receivers. These I'm calling your big name receivers because one, all of them got either nicknames or just names that you know. Jamarius Shareed, also known as K-Dot, he is your leading returning receiver, 583 yards, but he's about my height. So take that with a grain of salt. But he can move. He can scoot. I don't know what his pro potential is. I'll say it like that. Like I'm not gonna blow smoke up your tail and tell you every dude's gonna make the league. I don't know what his pro potential is. I don't, and it's gonna be related to height. Now, if he can get the production and show some versatility, I think it can work. Especially if he can get back there and show that he can return kicks. I think that's something that's valuable to a professional team. But 5'7", it's kind of tough. Now Oxendon's got that 5'10", but less than 200 yards last year. I need Oxendon to get closer to 5. I'm hoping he can. I think he's a 500-yard receiver, at least. But considering K-Dot went over 5 like that, I think he's going to take some of those routes that Xavier ran last year and run with them. Now, Oxendon, same thing. Same height, 5'10". Can he be consistent? Can he stay healthy? Those will be the big questions. Manigo, prototypical size. Like, that is the prototypical size. That is, if we're playing Madden or my Xbox controller somewhere, it's over there. You can't see it. That's the size of a receiver that I'm making out of creative receiver. If I'm trying to like not be overly a cheater and have like a 7-foot receiver, but I'm gonna do like a little, creative player, get 6'3" receiver. That's the size. And like Manigo's the size. I think he's a 500-yard guy. I think he could have got 500 yards last year if he had caught a few more balls easily. He's easily hitting 500 yards. But the other thing is, and my dad always loves to call in the middle of the show. Don't ask me why. But I definitely feel like Manigo is got the size, and he could be that guy. And out of the returners, Kareem Burke, I'm looking to see what he's going to give me. Chris Sanders, Trey Davis too. Like, he got a touchdown against UNC. So we're going to see like all those guys that are kind of in that returners area. Nicholas Dixon. They're all guys that can they fill that void? Are they going to be able to be those guys who can eat up some of those yards that are available? Because all of a sudden, Xavier Smith leaves. He took 1,000 yards with him, 11 touchdowns. That means there's 1,000 yards in this offense that are available. Is he going to get them? Is he going to be one of the ones to get that? Then we got the new boys. I told y'all, Jamari Gassett, he's explosive. I'm just going to say that. He is the most out of the kind of other guys that weren't here last year that is going to likely fill that void. And yeah, he's got potential. He's one of those guys, if you give him 5 yards, he might take 20. And that's just being honest with that. With the other guys, Marcus Phillips, I'm looking to see what he develops into. 6'3". Is he going to be able to fit in the offense? Is he going to be able to find his niche? Because within FAMU's offense, it's never about size. It's all about route running. And can you catch the ball? That was the secret. If you didn't notice, like within Willie Simmons' system, it's not about simply being a big receiver. He actually kind of prefers the smaller receivers because they run very crisp routes. And if you can run crisp routes, you can be where Willie wants you to be at the right time. The offense is about timing. And if you can disrupt the timing of FAMU's offense, that's when you F it up. Like, and I'm not, scouting for anybody. It's if you're a coach and you're reputable, you see this. Like, the trick to FAMU's offense is that it has to stay in rhythm. Like, I'll ask questions occasionally to coach about us staying on schedule. And it's two things. FAMU's offense has to stay in rhythm and it has to stay in the schedule. And the schedule not meaning like this, and the third, and this. No, it's saying this needs to be at this place at this time. First down is 1st and 10. We know this. As long as it's 1st and 10 to 1st and 15, it's okay. It's manageable. Second down needs to be 2nd and 8 to less. Like anything after when it's 2nd and 10, the offense is off schedule. Third down, 3rd and 5 or below. Otherwise, the offense is off schedule, and that's when mistakes happen. And when you go back and look at the Ryan Stanley era, go back and look at when McKay would make a mistake. Look at Musa. Hell, look at all 3 Jackson State losses. They're because the offense some funny stuff happened. Normally, it's a penalty, and that's the Achilles heel of this offense. The Achilles heel of the FAMU's offense is penalties. It's never just the drop balls. The drop balls are frustrating, but it is penalties and missed blocks. When the offensive line is blocking and we can get a running game going, because, yeah, he's shotgun Willie, but he actually does like to run the ball more than you think. But the biggest problem is within our offense, we have to stay on schedule. And that's what these receivers are going to offer you. And the tight end room gives you that as well. Because with our tight ends, we ask them to block a lot, but they're also big bodies. So they are those guys where when we kind of get off schedule, they're the guys you're kind of looking to. It just doesn't when you're watching it, go back and look. A lot of the times when the tight ends are called upon, it's where, like I need a short yardage area and all my receivers are 5'10" and below. Okay, let me get my 6'5" tight end. Crap. We're kind of in a funky position as far as field position wise. Let's find a tight end. Like, that's where they come into play because they're very athletic, they're tall, and they just can be those guys that can be X factors for us. And so when you're looking at the importance of the receiver room for FAMU, it's really 3 things. 1, catch the bleep ball. I'm not trying to curse today. I'm trying to be right. But catch the darn ball. 2, eliminate stupid penalties. Jumping off sides is a stupid penalty for a receiver. And we've all done it. Like, I'm not lambasting or beating or picking on anyone. I'm stating the obvious. Limit the silly penalties. Otherwise, all of a sudden, we start getting off schedule. Lastly, and I'll be honest, FAMU receivers are pretty solid at this block. Like, FAMU receivers block. Like, underrated quality of FAMU receivers. All them jokers can block. I have yet to see a FAMU receiver that just got his tail whipped in blocking. Now, I've seen some that got some dumb penalties. Almost a hook. Almost. But for the most part, FAMU receivers can block. And almost all of them can run really nice routes. Like, they run the route tree really well. And that's the secret. And with the tight end game, we don't use the tight ends enough, in my opinion. 6'4", 6'5", all of them. 230 plus, all of them. And that's before a trip to Bojangles, Churches, Popeyes, Olene's. Like, let them get the Obama Slam breakfast first thing in the morning. Man, that 265. Like, what? If you ain't go to FAMU, I don't want to hear it. You ain't been to Olene's. If you ain't been to Olene's, I question, are you a rattler? First, I question you, but secondly, I commend you for not doing it on a day when you got classes. Because, look, I went to Olene's one day for class. Man, I was sitting there looking at the professor like this, like, bro, it's whatever you got, man. But as long as I make it to the end of class, we all right. Because the day, I ain't even in the mood to argue. I'm tired. That food put me on my backside. But it was good. I ain't gonna lie, Olene's was good. Still is. But that's the secret. That's the secret of FAMU's offense. Stay on schedule, stay on pace. It's a rhythm. It's a rhythm-based offense. Like, you look, and when FAMU's offense is clicking, it's a rhythm. It's a rhythm. It's not just, okay, it's the quarterback's drops within here, his foot hits a certain place, the ball's gone. It's very rhythm-based. And when you throw off that rhythm is when the other teams have success. Willie Simmons' first season, again, when we lost to Jackson State, the offense gets off schedule. Again, his first season, he played against a coach who was in his third season. Willie Simmons he inherited a team that was butt cheeks. I think we had 3-8 the previous season. Took that to 6-5. We blew the game late, but you can see, if you go back and watch it, we got off schedule. We made some mistakes. It kicked us in the teeth. Look at the first OBC. The weather kind of kicks in. Weather throws us off schedule. McKay can't really get us in rhythm. Lose by 1 point. And we missed a field goal. Last year, man, that was a cluster. Roster-wise, that was a cluster. Like, NCAA this, NCAA that, all this kind of craziness going on. You lose. It happens. Like, even if you go and look at the game against UNC, when we were good until we got off schedule. So it's just one of those things where with FAMU's offense, you got to stay on schedule, and the receivers are imperative to that. And the biggest ways that they help us stay on schedule is catching the ball and reducing preventable penalties. Holding is going to happen. As a receiver, look, you shouldn't happen because they're really not looking at you that much. And please don't get a block in the back. Like, if the dude's in front of you, he about to walk your boy down. Look, your boy's just slow. Let him get walked down. Like, I'd rather you let your boy get walked down opposed to you coming up running by and just shoving a joker in the back. Like, nah, man. Sorry about that, buddy. Like, nah, like, if you're fast enough, run up and catch your boy and get in the middle and just put your hands up and be like, hey. Because the second he pushes you in the back, it's a push in the back and some defensive penalty. Should be a block in the back at that point. So, again, though, you're starting to see, like, it's some of the mind games. It's some of that benefit of having a very senior receiving core and a receiving core that's pretty strong. So I'm going to be interested to see there, and a tight end group that's very strong. So it's going to be fun to see y'all. So we're going to look at this offensive line next. Might try to dabble into the facility. We got a big line. Like FAMU's line is deep. And I'll say this. I think that is a direct result of what happened last season as far as how you entered the game, entered the season, and entered the game against Jackson State. This is a all or nothing season. Point blank and period. FAMU's going for that $1 million. We are going for the jackpot. And anything less is a failure. I'm just saying, look at the way the roster is built. Look at the moves that are being made. Look at the way the schedule is set up. It's all or nothing. There is no playoff talk. There will be no playoff talk. Unless there's a loss in the season, there is no playoff talk. It is what it is. So we know what it is. And man, it's gonna be some good times we had this season. Before we get out of here, though, go check out Cable Buster TV. Man, the website is getting updated, but you're seeing right here, Cable Buster TV. Who you gonna call? Cable Buster. NFL, NBA, pay-per-view, local TV, all starting at $35 per month on up to 3 devices. And you can get it from 1 to 5 devices for a nominal fee. So 813-360-1902. Who you gonna call? Cable Buster. So go check them out, man. Good people. They decided to sign back up for another sponsorship. We're looking for more sponsors. If you want to sponsor the Fangs Up Podcast, come join. Come hit me up. Fangs Up Podcast at gmail.com. So also check out fangsuppodcast.com. Updating the website almost daily, man. I ain't gonna lie. We got behind on that and just was like, oh man, I thought something was wrong with the website. That's my fault. And then I looked, I was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh crap. Let me go fix that. So we are in the process of fixing that. I am in the process of fixing that. So we're gonna get it up to date. And by football season's date time, the website will be date appropriate and up to date. So big shout out to Herb Seward and the Black Techies, though. HBCU Digital Network, this is home. Man, y'all, catch us on Sunday. I might have to record that, might not. We're going to talk about this offensive line. The offensive line is deep. And we're also going to kind of talk about, this little stadium issue going on. Like, I've seen some folks in Penalty Talk. I appreciate you. Penalty Talk was up there in the top 3 for people or fans of FAMU that you should be following, along with the OEG Strike Zone and the FQ FAMU Twitter page, which I do run the FQ FAMU Twitter page along with Fangs Up. Hopefully we have some more news. I gotta bother my resident alumni person. I may call him soon to see if we're gonna do a little something with that. Your brother may be doing something with that too. But yeah, I can't leave it alone. I love this FAMU too much. But yeah, so catch us Sunday, 8:30. We're gonna talk about this offensive line. And again, we're gonna kind of look at the stadium. If you missed, I was on round 1 with St. Clair on Hallelujah 95, and we were talking about that. So I've become one of the regular guests on that show right there. But we're going to talk about this whole stadium thing. And one of the conversations that Penalty Talk brought up was, what is FAMU going to do with those renovation proposals that were put out there? And so I'm going to give you a little bit of my ideas. I'll be honest with you. After pretty much building a brand new stadium, I don't know if that stadium was built with that renovation in mind. I'm just going to leave it there. And we just redid the parking lot, which I don't think had that renovation in mind. But we're going to talk about that. And then also kind of give you my ideas. I mentioned a little bit my only qualm about the naming of the new facilities at FAMU. My only frustration is with Coach Wiggins, I think y'all doing her a disservice. Like the softball field, softball complex. Hello, like Veronica Wiggins, softball complex. Simple. Just naming the field after. That's not enough. Like, I'm sorry. Look, I've shared this before. I'll share it again. Coach Wiggins is the only coach that I remember in recent memory that coached a Division I scholarship program, won championships, and taught the damn class. I was gonna be good today, but that burns me up that she can't get the complex. She taught softball class. And I'm not telling you what somebody told me. I took the class. I sat in there and was swinging softballs, and Coach Wiggins was talking cash chit to me. And I said chit. Yeah, like chitlins. Like she was talking trash. Yeah, over there, boy, I put some, Coach, I don't want to hit you with a softball. Boy, I put so much English on this ball. You ain't gonna hit me. Come on. And was talking trash and meant it. Like, no. I'm sorry. That's gonna be something I'll take with me. And as I see my teacher and my coach age gracefully, I might say, I will argue with anybody that place should be the Veronica Wiggins softball complex, not just softball field. And that's where I'll leave it at. I definitely feel like, that's what I'll stand on, because I really feel like if we sit up here and play that game, and I'll play it with you, that's the one that's a hill I'll die on for you. Yeah, I'll sit on that hill and die on it, because I feel like we are definitely missing some corporate sponsorship opportunities. And again, I feel like naming stuff for people is cool, it's great, and it's honorable, but it don't pay no dang gum bills unless they writing checks. And a lot of times we're just honoring people who have done a great service for the university. But in this case, this is somebody who built a program. Like, she stayed so long to where they practically put in the turf field while she was still the coach. I believe it was installed while she was the coach. The batting cages, like literally, that softball facility was built around Veronica Wiggins and her tenure at Florida A&M University. So again, if you want to argue with me, put in the comments. That's cool. Or disagree. I ain't gonna argue with one of y'all about that one at all. But that's a spot that, while she is still here to say good morning to us, needs to be the complex. And within that, we need to find corporate sponsorships within that. We need a concession area. We need a this and that. It has a bathroom. It ain't the best, but it's a bathroom. You can pee. But we need some type of sponsorships that are taking place on campus. We have done ourselves a disservice naming so many things after people who are and should be honored, but not allowing ourselves to generate residual revenue, because we're seeing that now those opportunities are passing us. And as I'll quote St. Clair, if you don't follow, and if you haven't caught on, go catch him on round one. But he points out, how many more things are there for FAMU to name? And I was like, dang, it's a great point. Now, one of the things I think that we could do is brag, or at brag, as you look to expand it and potentially follow through on that plan. The interest gates. Like, have the interest gates be named after corporate sponsors. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't eat Lindy's chicken no more. I stopped going to Lindy's when the lady who made the carrot cake died. Like that used to be my carrot cake spot. Like I would drive across town to get some carrot cake from there. But when she died, the chicken was already kind of like it fell off. I shut that shit down. But like Raising Cane's, Guthrie's, like what's the name of the place y'all like to go to? Chubby's. Chubby's hit or miss. Like Chubby's used to be a spot after the club. I ain't gonna lie. Like, and I ain't no club person, but it was always good to people watch because y'all people was drunk. Just go through the drive-through and laugh and get some good chicken. But I'm just saying, like, because I know Bojangles got to deal with the ACC, but I'm just saying, like, all right, I don't have no elephants in here now. I ain't around no deltas, so but can we address the elephant in the room? I'm okay with the SWAC having a deal with like somebody that sells chicken. It's not because we black. The ACC got a chicken deal. Bojangles, we can get Popeyes. I mean, heck, Crispy Crunch, something. Like, we need some type of sponsorship deal because, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty sure the only reason there's a Bojangles in Tallahassee is because of the ACC in Florida State. It's straight, though. It's better than ones down here in Central Florida. The one in Daytona sucks. Don't go there. Don't. If you're getting chicken from Daytona, go to Bethune Grill. But, again, all of that stated, y'all. And I'm sorry. I did not mean to rant that hard, but I'm really passionate about this. And I do mean that we are missing opportunities. And we are able to see that within the last day or so, when that expense report came out and FAMU's like number 65 as far as like revenue, and that's almost exclusively football. We don't charge for anything else. Like, I mean, you charge for basketball, nobody goes to watch it. Softball's free, baseball's free, tennis is free, bowling's free. I think bowling's free. Like everything else is free, like to go watch. So literally, FAMU's football program is carrying the entire athletic department. Like it's imperative that this basketball team gets decent. And I got basketball jerseys. Like unlike some of y'all, I bought the jerseys. I got them for $35, but look, I bought the jerseys. Look, them two jerseys was not as much as the football jersey. But again, just being real with y'all on that one. Like, I got them things for the low. I jumped on that thing quick. Like, 35 for the FAMU jerseys? Yeah, let me get that right fast, bro. But it's imperative that this football program wins and does some things. All right, y'all. I've held you long enough. We're approaching an hour. Ooh, I'm sorry. But we'll be back. We're gonna be talking about this offensive line. And man, what are some of the guys you should be looking for? Because we got some versatile linemen. TJ Demas, yo, look, I want to see. Look, let's see what this weight room doing. Because TJ is good for posting like videos online. And if you're not following our players on Instagram, do that, man. TJ K-Dot. K-Dot's got a clothing line, man. Like, follow our guys online. They produce some hilarious TikToks. This is the reason that students want to be a part of this football program because it looks like fun. Go back and check out Scotty Off-Script and what he was talking about. Part of the reason FAMU is popping is because even after Prime left, we didn't stop posting. And we have great people like Josh Padilla, who just got a great article written by him, by my brother from another mother, Gerald Thomas. G3, check him out, 3PG. Check him out, social media, Dallas Democrat. So, but man, I've talked too long and stayed too long. So till Sunday, 8:30. This is Fangs Up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community,